we're going to see if we can work that out with the tool, which it did quite nicely. Hey everybody, it's Doc. Welcome to the channel. So putting new graphics on a dirt bike can be a frustrating task. They're expensive, you kind of get one shot at it, and if you screw it up, you're out a lot of money. I'm going to show you my method today, which I think is easy, requires less tools, and should be less frustrating for you, and you should get a very good end product when you're done. We'll start off by showing you my project. I'll show you the tools that are required, we'll do some tips along the way, and then hopefully I'll have something great to show you at the end. So we're going to turn this camera around and get started. Stick with me. This is my 1992 Yamaha WR200. This is a fairly rare bike. It was only imported to the United States for 2 years. And what we're doing today is we're going to not only replace the graphics, but we are also replacing the plastic because the original plastic on this bike has yellowed over the years, and I think it deserves a spa day. I do think it's only fair that I show you how not to apply graphics. And what I did, again, this is 15, 17 years ago. There were not a lot of tutorials available. If YouTube would have been available, I'm sure I would have done a better job. And the method at that time was to put basically a slippery, soapy substance behind your graphics and try to get the graphics to match the contours of the bike. The contours on this bike were a little bit more than the graphics could do. I didn't have a heat gun at the time, which is really essential for making things work. And so what I ended up doing was trying to cut reliefs. At the time, they kind of connected together. They didn't look too bad, but over the years, they have separated and they are ugly. So you can see this one was fairly successful. And then on this side, you can see again, these were fairly successful, but they are ugly and yellow, and those were far from successful. What we'll do today is we're going to show you how to avoid this and how to make an awesome looking set of graphics like you can see on my beta, which I just did, and how beautiful this graphics set turned out. One of the most important parts of any project is to be clean and to be organized. And being clean is super important with this project because you don't want to get anything that will bubble behind your graphics on the plastic. Think of it like when you're trying to put a glass cover on your phone and you get that little spot. It can look like that on your graphics as well. So today we're using new plastic, and it's just as important to clean your new plastic and make sure it's free of any oils. And the best way to do that is to use just good old-fashioned isopropyl alcohol and some sort of lint-free material to wipe it off. I use gauze, but you can use paper towels, and it never hurts to take like a keyboard blower or some compressed air and blow off your product before you start applying the graphics. Now, there are other things that are really important as far as tools go. Obviously, you want to be able to see what you're doing. So I've got a well-lit room with these very bright LED kind of shop lights. They're awesome. They cost like 30 bucks on Amazon. I like them a lot. If you don't have something like that, a set of lit loops like I have here. This is something that I made up myself, and they work really well. I will put a link so you can take a look at that project. I use these a lot because I'm getting old. My near vision is not so great. So those are really awesome, and they're very easy to use. Now, another very important tool here will be the heat gun. And the heat gun basically allows you to warm up your materials. It helps activate the glues, and it really helps you mold the graphics to your plastic. And then a final swipe of heat will also help activate the glue so your graphics stay put, particularly on the edges. Now, if you have, we're doing new graphics today, or new plastic today, but if you're doing old plastic, like my fender there that's got lots of rough areas and scratches in it, you want to have a razor blade that you can scrape those areas smooth. And even sometimes new plastic will have that as well. The other set of tools that you'd like to have, these I use also for applying vinyl wrap. It's actually a vinyl wrap kit from Amazon. And I will put all of these products with links in the description to Amazon. Heads up, we are an Amazon affiliate, so if you click on the link, which I hope you do, we get a little kickback. It doesn't cost you anything, and then that helps us do more of these little projects, which we can show you on the channel. But this is a very useful set of tools to have around, and the kit comes with more than this, but the kit comes with some little smoothing tools that can tuck vinyl or plastic into crevices. It comes with a little blade, which is super sharp and really nice. Another tucking tool. And then this is probably the most important tool. Instead of using, like, say, a credit card to smooth your graphics, this has kind of a Velcro or felt end on it, and then a curved firm end. And this just helps push the graphics down, get the air bubbles out. Very nice tool. And you know, the whole thing for this is, I want to say it's like less than $15, but check it out. Check it out on Amazon. It's pretty awesome. But these are the tools required. I'm going to set up and we'll show you a couple of tips that will help you get this project done. Mostly this just requires patience, common sense, and taking your time, not rushing it, and you'll have a very excellent finished product when you're done. Another thing I neglected to mention, which I should at this point, so you can see that these are brand new graphics. These are actually some of the graphics I got many, many years ago. And you'll notice the difference is that these are on a big sheet, whereas these are very nicely cut to the edges. And what you want to do is, if you have something like this, you want to cut it so the edges are very close to the edge of the graphics, because that's going to be important in one of the very first steps of applying the graphics to the plastic. Something else I didn't mention that's really important is to wear gloves. And your fingers make a lot of oils that can affect your graphics ability to hold to the plastic. So the best way to avoid that is just to wear gloves. Something else I failed to mention is I like these a lot. These are safety glasses, again, purchased off Amazon. They flip up. They're 2-power. So these are more than adequate for the project we're doing today. I may go to the other ones if we get into some detail work, but for big pieces of plastic, this should be easy. So first things first, we are going to do our application of, we're going to clean our plastic. Like I said, even if this is new, you want to do this step. You don't want to skip this step. You want to just cover every area and just make sure that if there's any potential oils on this, that we've got them taken care of. And then you can either wipe this off the plastic or you can just let it dry. But make sure you get the edges very well, because the edges are very important when it comes to keeping the graphics on your bike. Before starting, you always want to make sure that your graphics work out on the plastic of your bike. I can't say that I'm super happy with those, but luckily I have the set from the past, and I think I'm going to use the set from the past, which means I have to cut out all of this. You guys might be asking why I switched. Okay, so these are my original graphics. We're going to see how well 15-year-old graphics do. Hopefully they still stick well. But as you can see here, if I line up the holes, there's a big gap in the front. You know, this is, you line up the holes down there. This may be a difference between the Australian bikes and my bike, or it may be the fault of the graphics company. I'm not really happy with this outcome because these weren't cheap, but it is what it is. You can only do the best you can do when you're dealing with something that's a continent away. So unfortunately, this is wasted money. It won't work at all, but luckily I've got a backup and I know this one works because I've done it before on the bike. The next step of what you want to do is you want to flip your graphics over, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut a slot right through here and leave that open. Let me show you here. And what I do is just use basic scissors. Not doing too good of a straight job there. There we go. And then we're going to cut a slot, say about an inch or so wide. Okay. Press that back down. And then we can put this back roughly where it was. So what we'll do at this point is we've got this area of sticky back here, and make sure our holes line up. It allows us some degree of latitude as far as adjusting the graphic. And then we can make sure everything lines up where we want it to go. And we should be good. So at this point, what I can do is I can start peeling it off of the back, take my heat gun, warm everything up, and start applying the graphic. So heat is super important here because it makes your graphic very pliable. Like I said, it activates the glues, which help it stick, and in general, gets you a better end product. So you don't want to overheat the graphic, but you do want to just warm everything up so it loosens everything to the way that you need it to be. Okay, so at this point, what we'll do is we'll start peeling this sticker off the back. I'm just going to fold it up like that. I've got my handy tool from Amazon here. And we're going to start our application. More heat. Let's see if you guys can see it. Just we got a little bubble forming there. We'll warm that up a bit. And then give our see how nicely that application goes. Might have to hold it up a little bit with your fingers. Always want to go from the inside and work your way out. You can always let gravity work for you too, so the plastic doesn't, the graphics don't flap down onto the plastic. And you can always do the thumb technique as well if you want, although I find that the tool works a little bit better. You can see we got a little lump that's formed there. So what are we going to do with that? Heat is our friend. So we're going to apply that, and then we're going to see if we can work that out with the tool, which it did quite nicely. Maybe give it enough rub around. Now we can start working on this side. And don't worry, you can always peel the graphic back a little bit, but you can't do it really repeatedly. So you want to keep that to a bare minimum. Now I'm peeling the backing off of this now. And then we're going to start. Sometimes it helps to be ambidextrous. And it's again, you always want to work from the inside out. And right now we got to get this little contour taken care of here. That's looking pretty good. Get those edges. Always spread the heat evenly. Now we've got to make sure that this hole lines up down here. So that'll probably be our next stop. Looks like we're right exactly where we need to be. Okay, so we got a big bubble right here. So what do we do with that? Lift it up a little bit. We apply our heat. And we get our tool to work. And no more bubble. Something you might notice here is the fact that there's a little bit of an edge there. You need to remove that, and there's no other way than to just do it with the tool. You have to be very careful, because if you leave that, dirt will get under there, and it will affect your adhesion of your graphic. This is where a sharp tool comes in handy. Quick application of heat just to seal that edge. We're good. That is a finished panel in only a matter of a few minutes. This would have been very difficult years ago without the heat gun and without the proper tools. Now we'll do the rest and I'll show you the finished product.